Greetings, YouTube. Today we're talking about a marbles knife. This one is the MR241 made in China. And it came with a desiccant pack, which is currently dropping beads everywhere, and sleeves, plastic sheath covers for both the sheath and the blade, which were shipped separately, and this is for the blade itself. And I'm glad they shipped them separately because you really shouldn't keep this in the blade in the sheath, in a leather sheath like this, for long term, because you can actually rust the knife. And I got this because I like the blade shape, and it came in a real leather sheath, so I wanted to see what the quality of the sheath was. And I think this was in the $30 range. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I've had this waiting for review for a bit now. The sheath has the marbles logo here. And it has a decent pattern, kind of pleasant pattern here. The back is plain. It is a relatively thick leather sheath, though it's not perfect. There's a little here, and it looks like it actually got dropped, not by me, by someone else before I ever got it. But it is the stitching is decent, but you know, not gonna get anywhere, win any rewards for that. It covers the blade up to here, and when it goes in, it actually snaps. It actually fits in there pretty firmly, which is quite nice. So here we go. This is supposed to be actual bone, so I'm going to take their word for it that it's actual bone. It looks like actual bone to me. And it is pinned in place with 4 brass pins. Has 2 lanyard holds here, so you could put a loop of paracord through there without any difficulty whatsoever. It's very shiny brass, and I'm actually impressed with the fact the way it fits. It really is. The fit is actually very solid. It isn't perfect. You can look in here and see how those are not perfectly lined up with each other, but that's okay. In my book, for the price point, it is acceptable. Here you have the marbles logo there, and this side it says MR241 7 CR17 steel, and it says China, and it has these 4 holes. I'm assuming the holes are just there to look pretty. I can't imagine you don't want to use them for anything. But they do echo the 2 holes here, so aesthetically it's kind of interesting. It fits in the hand quite nicely. It's a thin knife, and I appreciate that because I don't have particularly thick hands. Some people like more of a swell here in their grip, so that may be something that bothers some folks. But for me, I really thought this was quite nice because of that blade shape, that modified Wharncliffe. It's weird because it's a reverse, almost a reverse Tanto in design, because it's got a very slight belly, very, very, very shallow. That's why I say modified. But this comes out almost like a sheep's foot, but it's it's an angle, a sharp angle, as opposed to rounded like a sheep's foot. And it's too blunt for a real Wharncliffe. A Wharncliffe would really come out like this. So you call it a modified sheep's foot? I'm not sure what you call it. It's hollow ground with a secondary bevel. It came out of the box with a usable edge, not shaving sharp, but usable. I saw this online at the price. I'm like, oh, you know, this could be good or this could be crap. And a couple of the reviews said that people were actually surprised by the quality. So I'm like, okay, I'll take a gamble. And I bought 2 marbles knives at the same time, and I was impressed with both of them. As far as the price point goes, they were quite nice. Now, this has some unusual jimping in my book. You've got some here, and that kind of makes sense if you wanted to use the knife like this, though it is a little further out than I would have thought, because I would have imagined it was further here for that particular job, but it's not out of the realm. This is going to be, it has some nice here, so your finger's not going to move forward, which is good. So, even though this is a light-duty blade, this is not a heavy-duty blade. Excuse me. You could actually go do there and make some feather sticks, things like that, without any difficulty. But it's got some out here. So I don't know if the implication is they actually expect you to baton with this. This is a little light-duty from my book for batoning, but maybe if you were doing not too thick stuff, this might be good for that. I'm not sure. But I thought that inclusion was a little odd. I don't quite understand why it's there. If someone could tell me why they think it's here, do they actually expect someone to baton with this? Because if you were gonna baton, having that there would be quite nice, because your baton is not going to slide off. But it just doesn't seem very long, nor all that robust for the whole batoning thing. But maybe I'm just not up on batoning techniques. Maybe I'm behind the curve or something. Other than that, the brass not lining up there, otherwise the fit and finish on this is very nice. It's smooth. There's no edges. There's no round. There's no burrs anywhere on it. It's not perfect. You can see a little when they were deburring it. That spot right there, they got nicked. Got a little bit too much. But again, for the price point, I'm willing to ignore certain things, and I'm willing to do that. The balance is interesting in my book because it's here. It's like right where that line is. So it sits here, and the tip feels very light. I mean, it doesn't affect the overall weight, but as far as the way it handles, the tip feels very, very fast. I don't know how that would be used. It would, in fact, I could see this as food prep be really nice because the weight's right here. So if you're doing some food prep in camp or something, this would be nice because it's going to sit right here. Your weight's going to be here, not out here. So you're going to be feeling that, you know, you're moving the knife nimbly, and which is quite good. It's almost like it's a kind of an odd duck. It's almost like it doesn't quite know what it wants to be. But I like the shape, I like the bone jigging, I like the sheath, and I like the fit and finish. So even though it's sort of a slight of an odd duck, I'm willing to accept that. I'm willing to let that slide because for the price point, if you like this kind of blade shape, and I'm a fan of this blade shape, this might be something that you'd be interested in. And because I've done 2 Marbles knives now, and I liked both of them, I am now inclined to purchase more Marbles knives, which, if your Marbles is good, you've convinced me that your quality is high enough that I would be willing to purchase another blade and maybe even risk a little bit more money to see if your things that are cost a little bit more are worth my time. So overall, this has definitely been a solid option here. I don't remember the bottle name on this. I apologize. It's not in the box, weirdly. What's interesting is that the other Marbles knife, I just realized this. This says 1898, and the other one says 1892. That's weird that they would have the 6-year difference between that. I wonder why that is. I just noticed that. If anybody knows out there knows why, tell me. But yeah, overall, a nice blade, and even if it is a bit of an odd duck,